My next guest is the queen of relationships. She helps powerful entrepreneurial women have a relationship with their men that feels as successful, inspiring, and expansive as the business they're building. Please welcome Michelle Keinan. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I'm here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next-level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm here today with the relationship queen, Michelle Keinan. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, what's up?
How are you?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting to do this chat with you for a while now, so I'm so excited we're about to get into it.
Yes, I'm so excited too. Let us know, who is Michelle? Like, what's your story? Give us all the good stuff.
Oh, man. All right. Well, there's so much good stuff. Let me give you just the highlights here. So my name is Michelle Keinan, and I am a relationship success mentor for powerful women that are often type A, go-getters, know what they want, growth-oriented. And I teach you how to have a relationship that is as sexy and satisfying and successful as the businesses that you're building and growing. And my view, my passion is that I don't want women to feel like they have to be burnt out or stressed or even lean in order to have everything that they want. I really want to teach all women the power of leaning back into their divine feminine receiving energy so that a space can be created where your man will powerfully step up for you and give you everything that you want in a way that also feels good for him and makes him feel powerful and confident and successful as well.
Wow, this is amazing. So why are the masculine and feminine energies so important? And what makes them so different? And how can we leverage them for our business and our relationships?
Great question. I love it. Let's get into it. So they're called masculine and feminine energies, but they're not specific to gender. In fact, that kind of energy has been stereotyped and then attached to gender expressions in our society. But
Mhm.
it's not like men are supposed to have masculine energy and women are supposed to have feminine energy. It's nothing like that. It's, first of all,
Mhm.
understanding that we all have a spectrum of masculine and feminine energies inside of us, and they each play a role and give us different results and different outcomes in different situations. And so for
Mhm.
most of us, what we're very comfortable with and familiar with is the expressions of masculine energy, especially those of us that are entrepreneurs and builders, because society was set up according to certain structures and ways of doing things that are aligned with a masculine energetic understanding. So,
Mhm.
in terms of, for a lot of women, we've been taught about success as it relates to numbers or concrete milestones or having a certain number of employees or growing in a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. This is all very logical. And so it makes a
Mhm.
lot of sense to our brains. And that's why we're like, cool, that's what I need to do in order to get from point A to point B and have the kinds of results, which on the one hand is 100% true. But we're in this place now where, first of all, anything is possible. Obviously, if we didn't know that
Mhm.
before, with the world coming to a standstill and, everything changing, in what seems in like a very short amount of time, we are having the opportunity, the gift now to decide how we want to continue to move forward and how we want to build and create structures in our lives and businesses in our lives and relationships that not only are quote unquote successful in hitting those milestones, but that also feel good for us, that are energetically aligned for us, that give us nourishment, that fit into the lifestyles that we want to create for ourselves as well. And a lot of that is about tapping into the feminine, which is about being in a sensual place. And that doesn't mean being
Mm.
sexy or being, wearing skirts or anything like that,
Yeah.
but being in a place where you can open up to and create the space for something to happen and letting it come to you, and also making sure, does this feel good, is this what I want, is this the energy that I want to be in, is this making me happy, is this connected to the sensual expression and experience for my life. And most of us did not learn how to do this, right? Nobody went to business school and they got taught about feminine energy in business school. And even with like the whole female empowerment movement, a lot of those tactics and energetics are also, built from a masculine model. So how can we
Hmm.
have that when we need it, right? Sign those contracts, get those clients, make that money, build those businesses, and also tap into an energetic way of being that feels the way that we want it to feel, that nourishes us the way that we want it to nourish us, and that gives us the experience that we desire to have.
Yes, that's amazing. So, what would you say to a powerful leader right now listening to us talk, and right now in their relationship, maybe they have like a unsupportive partner or something is going inside their business that is affecting how they're showing up in their business? Like what would you tell them in order for them to really, get better and get back on track?
Well, it's so many things that I could tell them. On the one hand, it's about the beliefs that we have, about men,
Mhm.
about relationships, about what men think about successful women, about, what are all the stereotypes that are inside of us and that have been taught to us about what's possible in relationship, what's possible for us
Mhm.
in relationship, and understanding if that's true or not. And if we don't want that to be true, what we can do to make it different. And on the other hand, it's understanding too that when we're in relationship with someone, we are with another person. We are in a partnership with another human being. And a lot of times, what we're trying to do in our relationship is use the same tools and tactics that work in business, that work for us as managers, as CEOs, as founders to get shit done. But that when we try to do them in our relationship, they're not giving us the results that we want. They're not feeling good for us. They're not feeling good for our partner. And then it's, about introducing the question of like, not only why are we doing that? Why do we continue to try to do things that aren't working? But if you want a different outcome and result, are you willing to start to do different things, try different methods, learn something else that will give you the experience that you want, in the partnership with your man?
Oh my gosh, I love this. This is so, so good and so deep. And I feel like it's something we should talk about more. I feel like it's sometimes like hidden from the industry, and like I think it plays like a huge role like in our business success and all of that. So thank you so much for doing this work.
Yeah.
Um so what would you say is your greatest accomplishment in your business?
My greatest accomplishment in my business, I think that it's not only related to my business. It's actually,
Mhm.
look, I've had $40,000 months. I've had like,
Mhm.
crazy launches, so much quote unquote success. And at the same time, those things were wreaking havoc on my personal life, on my anxiety, on the quality of my
Mhm.
relationships, on my ability to relax. And what I needed to learn and understand was how to integrate my business into the rest of my life in a way that felt really really good. So it's not about the dollar signs, it's not about the
Mhm.
number of clients, it's truly about creating a life that my business is nourishing my life and vice versa, and truly finding that balance which so many women will tell you, well, you can't have balance, or their shoe's always about to drop. Or if I'm being a good mom, then I'm not doing as good at work. Or if I'm being a good boss, then I'm not being a good wife, and feeling that they're in that frustrating kind of place. But most of us don't understand. And you're right, we do need to talk about it more.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us don't understand about how to create a good life for ourselves, and how to create different success metrics that aren't only attached to
Mm-hmm.
those numbers, those figures, those logical mind markers of what good is, or what success is. And to understand, are we really feeling good? Are we really creating lives that feel good for us, that are in integrity with how we want to live, with our values, with what's important for us? And if not, that we have the full capability, especially in this moment, especially with everything that everybody suffered through, all of our ancestors and the women on whose shoulders we're sitting now to be where we are now. How do we take
Mm-hmm.
all of that struggle and fully, like, create structures now and create lives for ourselves now that are in alignment with what we really want, instead of continuing to find ways to operate in a society that isn't built for us to be happy, but is built for us to be producers instead.
Oh my gosh, this is so true. And speaking about the logical mind, because that was me like a year ago. Like I was really into my masculine, my logic. Like it needs to make sense on paper. Like I need to have goals set up. I need to have all the things ready. And this year, I'm really starting to lean more in the feminine and the lean back. So, what would be like your biggest piece of advice for someone who is really incorporating more of the feminine in their business?
So I think that, first of all, that there's an understanding that it's not that you have to abandon all the other stuff, that the masculine is
Hmm.
wrong, that goals are bad, that money is evil. Like, it's not any of that. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
we've been perfecting or practicing that way of operating for most, if not all, of our lives. And so, how do we now, give ourselves permission and allow ourselves truly, instead of pressuring, now it has to be another way, now I'm supposed to be this way, like what I was doing is wrong. Like, instead of that either or right or wrong, or positive or negative kind of thinking that so many of us are forcing ourselves into, how do we start to
Hmm.
invite in more of what we want and more of what feels good, and find a way to allow that to be part of the creational process that we have for ourselves, and also learning better how to do that if you are in partnership with somebody else. And forgive me for all the people listening that might be in same-sex relationships.
Hmm.
But I'm just staying in my lane here, and I really do focus on the masculine feminine balance of it all. That when we're in that kind of relationship, we have a whole other set of resources. We have a whole other
Hmm.
person that's there with us, that can build with us, that is choosing to walk that journey of life together. And so often we're cutting them out of the equation unnecessarily. And that there's a whole other way where you can, I don't teach about 50-50 relationships. I teach about 100-100 relationships, where the more
Yes.
empowered you are, the more full you are, the more connected to what feels good for you that you are, and that your partner also has his full capability to be his full 100 too. When you combine, you're limitless. It's exponential what you can do together. But most of us are, you know by a matter of speech, we're cock blocking our partners from being in his
Hmm.
full power, from showing up in the way that feels the best for him, and letting him truly give us beyond what we could even imagine. Most of us are just like, how do I get my man to do the dishes and pick up his socks from the floor? Like, ladies, that's just the basics here. Like, there's so much more that you can do with your man together once he's activated and once you're activated too. And that's what I teach on deeply.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. So, I hear you talk a lot about desires and knowing what we want, what we believe in. So, what would you say is the key to knowing what those things are?
Well, I would say the easy way to say is if it feels good or if it doesn't, or to ask yourself, is it a hell yes or is it a hell no? But for a lot of
Mhm.
us, there's things that we are doing that,
Mhm.
or we don't want to do, that they might not feel good, but they're actually the right thing for us, or, they could feel good if we made some tweaks to them. And so I just think that the basis of what we can do is start to listen to ourselves more and pay attention to ourselves more and create a space as a personal practice. How do we create a space for
Mhm.
ourselves, which could even be a second, 5 seconds? It doesn't have to be like, locking yourself in the room for 30 minutes to like meditate, if that's not the time that you have. Like a practice for me that was super helpful
Mhm.
was before reacting or before responding, learning how to take a breath and just waiting. Like that was it's so simple. All the tools that I teach are so simple, but
Yeah.
very profound and very transformational in their practice, because so many of us are used to being in that go, go, go energy, get stuff done, make decisions, move ahead, like hold shit together, on to the next thing, multitasking, that we're just not tapping into our wisdom. We're not tapping into our intuition. We're not honoring or respecting ourselves at all. We're just bound by obligation or bound by whatever's on the to-do list, and giving that precedence over, ourselves. So I think that that is the most simple and powerful way for anybody that's listening to start
Mhm.
to have things different. Because also, relationship hack, your energy and the way that you move is wildly different than your partner's. He's a different human being. Let me remind you that again. And as a man, he is different. He has been treated by the world differently. His energy is different. How he pays attention to things, his speed is everything is different about this other person that's in your life. So by taking that pause,
Mhm.
that is literally starting to create that space for something new to happen. Like imagine if you could just then start extending that and lengthening that, and then developing trust within yourself that something amazing is going to show up, or something new is going to show up, or something surprising is going to happen that's going to support you or give you what you need or answer your question, without you having to be the one that just automatically jumps, automatically does it, automatically goes. And that's something that's very illuminating for all of the women that I coach, all of the women inside of my Goddess Wife School, to learn how to slow the F down and just let somebody else show up for once, instead of always volunteering yourself automatically to be the one to make things happen all the time.
Yes, so good. Awesome. So I ask this to everyone on the podcast, and I'm really curious to know your answer. So, what does being a powerful leader mean to you?
Being in integrity. I think it means being honest, speaking your truth, and also living your truth, and just truly, you know, setting example, like
Mhm.
living by example. It's not about, just preaching or telling other people what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to think, how they're supposed to live, what's right or what's wrong. It's really about finding what is real for you, true for you, feels good for you, and then sharing it with others that
Mhm.
want to learn, that want to have that kind of experience too, and finding ways to get it in the hands or in the consciousness of other people, especially if it's something that is contrary to popular opinion or popular belief. Even then, it's so much more necessary and important, because there's so many things that are normalized in the world, that just because they're normal, it doesn't mean it's the only way that they have to be, or it's the only way that things can happen or get done. So being the example of, like being the change that you wish to see in the world, I think that that is truly what that can be, what it takes to be a powerful leader.
So good. So much wisdom. Do you have any last piece of advice that you'd like to share with our audience today?
I'm not in the habit of advice, because truly, with every woman out there, I believe in your ability to know
Mhm.
what is best for you, and that you have all of the answers inside of you. So rather than me tell you what you should do based on what is good for my life and my values and what I want for myself, it's truly a matter of, learning how to tap into yourself and
Mm-hmm.
also understanding all of the beliefs that you have about what is and what isn't possible, and recognizing which ones need to go because they're getting in the way of you having what you want for yourself. It
Mm-hmm.
can be, again, so simple. But of course, working with teachers and mentors, and that's why I have my Goddess Wife School. That's why I do one-on-one coaching. That's why I have my free Goddess Wife Vibes for Unstoppable Females Facebook group, which you are all invited to join and take part on, where I teach deeply on all of this. But really recognizing, really connecting to what you want, to your desire, and trusting your damn self, letting yourself want it, and then letting go of every reason and every excuse why you can't have it or why it's not possible, especially when it comes to the man in your life, no matter if you have proof of it, because yeah, it's real why it hasn't happened yet. And are you ready to let go of it so that it can happen, so that it can show up in the way that you want it, in your life now? And once you're ready to do that, it absolutely can be possible. And not only will it feel really good for you, it'll feel really, really good for him too. And I have the thank you letters from many husbands and boyfriends to prove it.
That's awesome. Great. So, besides your Facebook group, where can people go to connect with you further online?
You can also search on Instagram or Facebook for Satisfied Wife, and you'll find my feed. But once you join my Facebook community, I have a free masterclass on going from power struggle to power couple. I also have so many free resources on tapping into the energy of your female expression and your emotions. My top 5 hacks for how to have the dream relationship with your man now. So I have so many different things to give people. Come into my Facebook community. There's so much good stuff in there.
Awesome. This is amazing. Go connect with Michelle. She is a real goddess. Thank you, Michelle, for being here, for sharing all your knowledge. You are amazing.
And thanks for creating this kind of platform for women to soak in that knowledge and truly live the lives that they want for themselves. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.